Captain Jake Morrison sat in his command chair on the bridge of the UNS Defiant. The ship moved slowly through the dark space between stars. Jake had been captain for 3 years now. He was 35 years old, with short brown hair and tired eyes. Space was big and empty, but it was his job to keep it safe. "Captain, we're getting a signal," said Lieutenant Ben Cooper at the communications desk. Ben was young, maybe 25, with red hair and freckles. He had good ears for picking up strange signals in space. "Put it through," Jake said. He straightened up in his chair. The sound that came through the speakers was not human. It was high and musical, but full of fear. The computer worked to change the alien words into English. "Help us, please help us," the voice said. "This is Mining Station 77. We are under attack. Our shields are failing. Many ships surround us. We cannot fight them. Please, anyone who can hear this, help us." Jake looked at his crew. Commander Lisa Park stood at the weapons station. She was tall and strong, with black hair pulled back tight. Her hands moved over the controls, checking their guns and missiles. "Lisa, what do you see on the scanners?" Jake asked. 12 ships, Captain. They're big ones. Ravik pirates by the look of them. They have the mining. Station surrounded. The station's shields are down to 30%. Jake frowned. Ravik pirates were bad news. They attacked weak targets and took everything they could. They did not care about killing innocent people. "Sir," said Ben, "I'm getting more signals." 2 civilian ships tried to run away from the station. The pirates destroyed them both. No survivors. The bridge went quiet. Jake closed his eyes for a moment. He thought about the families on those ships. Men, women, maybe children. All dead now. "Captain," Lisa said, "we're 1 ship against 12. The Defiant is tough, but we're not built for this kind of fight." Jake opened his eyes. He looked at the main screen. It showed the mining station as a small dot of light. Around it, red dots marked the enemy ships. They looked like sharks circling their prey. "Amy, what's our status?" Jake called to the engineering station. Chief Engineer Amy Rodriguez was a small woman with dark hair and oil on her hands. She always kept the ship running smooth. "Engines are good, Captain. Weapons are ready. Shields are at full power. But Lisa is right. 12 to 1 is bad odds. How long before backup arrives?" Jake asked. 6 hours minimum, Lisa said. "The mining station won't last that long." Jake stood up and walked to the big window at the front of the bridge. Stars dotted the darkness like tiny diamonds. Somewhere out there, people were dying. The Zephyrians, who ran the mining station, were good people. They had never hurt anyone. They just wanted to dig rocks and metals from dead planets. "Captain," Ben said, "the Zephyrians are sending another message. Let me hear it." The alien voice came through again, sadder now. "Our shields are at 20%. The bad ships are charging their big guns. We have families here, children. Please, if anyone can hear this, we need help now." Jake's hands made fists. He thought about his own family back on Earth, his wife, his 2 kids. What if they were trapped somewhere, calling for help? What if someone heard their call, but turned away because the fight was too hard? "Captain," Lisa said quietly, "I know what you're thinking. But we can't save them if we're dead." "Maybe," Jake said. "But we can't live with ourselves if we don't try." He turned back to his crew. They were all looking at him. Amy wiped her hands on a rag. Ben adjusted his headset. Lisa checked her weapons one more time. "Listen up," Jake said. "Those pirates think they can do whatever they want. They think no one will stop them. They're wrong. What's the plan, Captain?" Amy asked. Jake smiled, but it was not a happy smile. It was the kind of smile a wolf makes before it attacks. We're going to teach them about humans. We're going to show them what happens when you hurt innocent people. Sir, Lisa said, even if we win, we might not all make it back. I know. Jake said, anyone who wants to leave can take a shuttle. No shame in it. Nobody moved. Amy crossed her arms. Ben turned back to his station. Lisa loaded the guns. All right then, Jake said. Ben, send a message to the pirates. Tell them to stop attacking the station and leave the system. What if they don't listen? Ben asked. Then we make them listen, Jake said. Amy, give me full power to engines. Lisa, prepare all weapons. We're going in. The Defiant turned toward the mining station. Its engines glowed brighter. On the bridge, red lights came on. Combat mode. Captain, Lisa said, the pirates are laughing at our message. They're not leaving. They're? Mistake, Jake said. All hands, this is the captain. We're going to fight. We're going to win. And we're going to make sure everyone knows what happens when you mess with the people we protect. The ship moved faster through space. Ahead, the enemy waited. Behind, Earth and home seemed very far away. But Jake and his crew were ready. They were human, and humans did not back down from a fight. The warning had been sent. Now it was time to make it real. Warlord Dekvar sat on his command throne aboard the Ravik warship Bloodclaw. He was huge, even for a Ravik. His skin was dark red like dried blood. Sharp teeth filled his mouth. Scars covered his arms from many battles. He had been a pirate for 20 years, and he had never lost a fight. The mining station's shields are almost gone, said his weapons officer. 2 more shots and we can board them. Dekvar smiled. The Zephyrians had good metal and rare crystals. His crew would be rich after this raid, rich and happy. Sir, called the communications officer, we're getting a message from a human ship. Dekvar laughed. Humans here? Put it on the main. Screen. The face of a human appeared on the screen. It was Captain Jake Morrison, though Dekvar did not know his name. The human looked calm, but his eyes were hard. This is the United Nations ship Defiant, Jake said. You are ordered to stop attacking the mining station right now. You have exactly 10 minutes to leave this system or face the consequences. The bridge of the Bloodclaw went quiet for a moment. Then Dekvar began to laugh. His crew laughed too. The sound was loud and mean. 1 human ship, Dekvar said, wiping tears from his eyes. 1 tiny human ship against 12 Ravik destroyers. This is the best joke I've heard all year. His second-in-command, Sub-Commander Crix, did not laugh. Crix was smaller than the other Ravik, but he was smart. He read reports from all over the galaxy. He knew things that others did not. Sir, Crix said quietly, maybe we should listen to the human. What? Dekvar turned to look at him. Are you afraid of 1 little human ship? No, sir, but I've been reading reports. Strange reports about humans and how they fight. Dekvar's laugh died. What kind of reports? Crix pulled up files on his computer. 3 months ago, the Keldan pirates attacked a human cargo ship. The cargo ship called for help. 7 human ships came. They destroyed the entire Keldan fleet. So what? They had more ships. No, sir. The 7 human ships were not warships. They were cargo haulers, mining ships, even a passenger liner. But they all came to fight. Dekvar frowned. That's stupid. Civilian ships can't fight. The humans made them fight, Crix said. They don't seem to care about the odds. When 1 human calls for help, they all come. Another Ravik officer laughed. Crix is getting scared of fairy tales. But Crix kept talking. There's more, sir. Last month, the Grex Empire captured a human exploration ship. They wanted to make the crew work as slaves. The humans refused. Even when the Grex tortured them, they refused. They said they would rather. Die then give up. Everyone says that, Dekvar said. But when the pain gets bad enough, they all break. The humans didn't break, sir. They died first. All of them. The Grecs got nothing. The bridge got quiet again. Dekvar looked at the human ship on his scanner. It was small, much smaller than his destroyers. But it was moving toward them, not away. Sir, the communications officer said, the human is sending another message. Jake's face appeared on the screen again. You now have 8 minutes to leave this system. I suggest you use them wisely. This time, nobody laughed. The human's voice was calm, but there was something in it that made them listen. It was like the sound of winter wind, cold and certain. Send him a message back, Dekvar said. Tell him we have 12 ships. Tell him he has one. Tell him to run away before we blast him into pieces. The communications officer sent the message. Jake listened to it. Then he smiled. It was not a nice smile. Warlord Dekvar, Jake said. I know who you are. You attack the weak. You kill the innocent. You think strength is about having more ships or bigger guns. You're wrong. What is strength then, little human? Dekvar asked. Strength is knowing what's right and doing it. Anyway, Jake said, strength is standing up for people who can't stand up for themselves. Strength is being willing to die for something more important than yourself. Pretty words, Dekvar said, but words don't stop laser cannons. No, Jake said, but humans do. The screen went black. Dekvar stared at it for a long moment. Sir, Crick said, there's something else. The reports say that when humans fight, they don't fight to win. They fight to make sure the enemy never comes back. What does that mean? It means they don't stop when they have the advantage. They keep fighting until the threat is completely gone. They don't take prisoners. They don't make deals. They finish what they start. Dekvar felt something he had not felt in years. It was small, but it was there. Fear. Sir, the weapons officer said, the human ship is accelerating toward us. It's coming fast. One ship, Dekvar said, but his voice was not as strong as before. One ship against 12. Yes, sir, but sir, what? The human ship is not trying to run away. It's coming right at us. Dekvar looked at his scanner. The human ship was indeed coming straight toward them. It was not trying to hide or use long-range weapons. It was coming for a close fight. That's suicide, one of his officers said. Unless, Crick said quietly, they know something we don't. Dekvar's hands gripped the arms of his throne. All ships, prepare for battle. We'll crush this human and then finish the mining station. But as he gave the order, he thought about Crick's words. The humans didn't fight to win. They fought to make sure the enemy never came back. He wondered what that meant. Soon, he would find out. The human ship kept coming. On its bridge, Jake Morrison was ready to show the galaxy what humans could do. The Youngs Defiant raced through space toward the enemy fleet. On the bridge, Jake Morrison watched the scanner. 12 red dots waited for him like angry eyes in the dark. Amy, are the modifications ready? Jake asked. Chief Engineer Amy Rodriguez's fingers flew over her controls. Almost there, Captain. Give me 30 more seconds. For the past hour, Amy had been changing the ship's systems. She had moved power from non-essential systems to the engines and shields. She had also done something else, something that other species thought was crazy. Lisa, are you ready with the surprise? Jake asked. Commander Lisa Park smiled. It was not a happy smile. All weapons are loaded with the special rounds. Danny has the targeting computer ready. Weapons Officer Danny Martinez was 28 years old with steady hands and good eyes. He could hit a target the size of a coin from 1,000 miles away. Today, he would need all his skill. "Captain," Ben Cooper said from communications, "the Ravik are forming a battle line. They want to hit us with all their guns at once." Jake nodded. "That's what I thought they would do. They're thinking. Like Revik, big ships, big guns, stand in a line and shoot. But we're not Ravik." "No, sir," Lisa said. "We're human." The Defiant was now close enough to see the enemy ships with the naked eye. They were huge dark shapes with glowing red lights. Weapons bristled from their sides like the spines of angry animals. "Sir," Danny said, "they're charging their main guns. If they all fire at once, our shields won't hold." "They won't get the chance," Jake said. "Amy, now." Amy pressed a button. The ship's engines roared with new power. The Defiant shot forward like a bullet from a gun. Instead of slowing down as it got closer to the enemy, it went faster. "Captain," Lisa said, "the Ravik are confused. They expected us to keep our distance and trade shots with them. Human rule number 1, Jake said, never do what the enemy expects." The Defiant dove straight into the middle of the Ravik formation. The big enemy ships had been arranged to fight at long range. Now, with the human ship right in the middle of them, they could not fire without hitting each other. "Danny, target." "The command ship's weapon systems," Jake said. "Got it, Captain." The Defiant's guns fired, but these were not normal laser blasts. Amy had loaded the weapons with special rounds that she had designed. The rounds were small, but they were fast and they were smart. They could find weak spots in enemy ships and exploit them. The first shots hit the Bloodclaw's main guns. Sparks flew. 2 of the big cannons went dark. "Warlord Dekvar is screaming at his crew," Ben said, listening to the enemy communications. "He's telling them to shoot us." "Let him scream," Jake said. "Amy, take us under the next ship." The Defiant rolled and dove beneath a huge Ravik destroyer. The enemy ship tried to turn its guns downward, but it was too big and too slow. The Defiant was like a small fish swimming around a whale. "Danny, hit their engines," Jake said. More special rounds fired. They found the weak spots in the enemies. Engine systems. The big ship began to drift, its engines failing. 2 ships down, Lisa said. 10 to go. But now the other Ravik ships were starting to understand. They began to spread out, trying to get clear shots at the human ship. Some of them were willing to risk hitting their own ships if it meant destroying the Defiant. "Here they come," Danny said. "Multiple targets locking onto us." "Amy, emergency power to shields," Jake said. "Everyone hold on." The Defiant shook as enemy fire hit its shields. The lights on the bridge flickered. But the ship kept moving, kept fighting. "Shields at 60%, Amy said. "We can't take much more of this." Jake looked at the scanner. The Ravik ships were moving to surround them. Soon there would be nowhere to run. "Lisa," Jake said, "it's time for human rule number 2. "Yes, sir." "If you can't win by being stronger, win by being smarter." Lisa's fingers danced over her controls. She had been preparing for this moment. The Defiant had more than guns and engines. It had something that the Ravik did not expect. "Danny, fire the drone package." Lisa said small objects shot out from the Defiant's hull. They looked like missiles, but they were not. They were drones, small, fast, and very smart. Each one had a tiny computer brain and a small explosive charge. The drones spread out in all directions. The Ravik ships tried to shoot them down, but there were too many of them. The little machines flew into the enemy formation like angry wasps. "What are they doing?" asked one of the Ravik captains over the radio. He found out a moment later. The drones attached themselves to the Ravik ships and began to explode. Not big explosions, but small ones in exactly the right places. Communication arrays went dark. Sensor dishes melted. Gun turrets jammed. The enemy is blind and deaf, Lisa said. They can't coordinate their attacks anymore. Good, Jake said. Now we finish this. Danny, target their shield generators. The Defiant moved through the enemy formation like a dancer. It was too fast for the big ships to track, too smart for their computers to predict, and too determined to stop. One by one, the Ravik ships began to lose their shields. Without shields, they were vulnerable. The Defiant's special rounds found their weak spots and exploited them. Engines failed. Weapons went offline. Life support systems flickered. Captain, Ben said, the Ravik are trying to call for backup. Too late, Jake said. Amy, can you jam their communications? Already on it, Captain. They're not calling anyone. The battle was turning. The Ravik had started with 12 ships against one. Now, half their fleet was damaged or destroyed. The rest were scattered and confused. Sir, Danny said, the Bloodclaw is trying to run away. Jake's eyes went hard. Human rule number 3, Danny. What's that? You don't let the bad guys escape to hurt someone else later. That's right. Take out their engines. The Defiant chased the fleeing command ship. The special rounds found their target. The Bloodclaw's engines died. The ship drifted helplessly in space. Captain, Lisa said, we've won. The remaining Ravik ships are surrendering. Jake looked at the scanner. Where once there had been 12 red dots, now there were only a few. The rest were dark or gone. Signal the mining station, Jake said. Tell them they're safe. As Ben sent the message, Jake thought about the battle. The Ravik had been bigger and stronger, but they had not been ready for human tactics. They had not been ready for human determination. Most importantly, they had not been ready for humans who refused to give up. The warning had been sent. The lesson had been taught. And across the galaxy, the word would spread. When humans say they're coming to help, they mean it. The battle was almost over, but Jake Morrison was not celebrating yet. The Defiant had damaged most of the Ravik ships, but the fight had cost them too. Sparks flew from damaged control panels. The ship's hull had several holes in it. Captain, Amy Rodriguez said, we're losing power. The main engine is damaged. Life support is running on backup power. Jake looked at his crew. They were tired and hurt, but they were still fighting. Lisa Park had a cut on her forehead from when a console exploded. Danny Martinez's left arm was in a sling, but he kept working his weapons controls with his right hand. How long can we keep fighting? Jake asked. Maybe 10 minutes, Amy said. After that, we'll have to shut down weapons to keep the lights on. Jake nodded. 10 minutes might be enough to finish off the remaining Ravik ships. But what if more pirates came? What if the Ravik had backup coming? Captain, Ben Cooper said, I'm picking up new signals. Multiple ships approaching. Jake's heart sank. Ravik reinforcements? I don't think so, sir. These signals are different. Wait. Captain, these are friendly ships. On the main screen, new ships appeared, but they were not military vessels. Jake could see cargo haulers, mining ships, and even what looked like a passenger liner. They were all heading toward the battle. This is Captain Rick Stone of the merchant vessel Frontier Spirit, a voice said over the radio. We got your distress signal, Defiant. We're here to help. Jake smiled for the first time since the battle began. Captain Stone, this is Captain Morrison. We're glad to see you, but these are warships. You should stay back. With respect. Captain Morrison, we disagree. We've got families on these ships, and we're not going to let pirates hurt innocent people. More voices came over the radio. This is the cargo ship Mountain View. We're with you, Defiant. Freighter New Hope here. We've got mining lasers, and we're not afraid to use them. Passenger liner Golden Star. We've got 300 people on board, and they all voted to fight. Jake looked at the scanner. 23 civilian ships were approaching. They were not built for war, but they were coming anyway. Sir, Lisa said, I'm also picking up Zephyrian signals. It looks like they're coming too. On the screen, Jake could see more ships. These were definitely not warships. They were industrial vehicles, mining platforms, ore haulers, and construction ships. But they were all heading toward the battle. This is Mining Supervisor Zithara of Station 77, a new voice said. The translator made the alien words sound musical. Human friends, you came to help us. Now we come to help you. Jake felt something warm in his chest. These people, human and alien, were willing to risk everything to help in a fight that was not theirs. Captain Morrison, Rick Stone said, we've been talking on the civilian channels. We've got a plan. I'm listening. The Zephyrians have mining charges, big explosives they use to break up asteroids. We can mount them on fast cargo ships and use them as guided missiles. The rest of us will provide covering fire with whatever weapons we have. Jake looked at the remaining Ravik ships. Most of them were damaged, but they still had some fight left. The Bloodclaw was trying to repair its engines. 3 other destroyers were regrouping for another attack. That's a dangerous plan, Captain. Stone, you could all be killed. Captain, Rick Stone said, my daughter is on the Golden Star. She's 8 years old. When she heard about the battle, she asked me why the bad guys were hurting people. I told her that sometimes good people have to fight to protect others. She said she wanted to help too. Jake closed his eyes. He thought about his own children back on Earth. What would they want him to do? All ships, Jake said. This is Captain Morrison. If you're going to do this, we do it together. Form up behind the Defiant. We'll lead the charge. The civilian ships moved into position. They were not graceful like warships, but they were determined. Jake could see families on the passenger liner, workers on the cargo ships, and alien miners on the industrial platforms. Sir, Danny said, the Ravik are confused. They're not sure what to do. They've never seen anything like this before. On the Bloodclaw, Warlord Thekvar stared at his scanner. What are those ships doing? They're not warships. They're civilians. Sir, Subcommander Crick said, they're surrounding us. All of them. Even the aliens are fighting with the humans. That's impossible, Thekvar said. No species helps other species like that. Everyone fights for themselves. The humans don't, Crick said quietly. And they've made the others think like humans. The civilian fleet moved forward. The frontier spirit led the charge, followed by 22 other ships. Behind them came the Zephyrian mining vessels, their industrial lasers glowing like angry stars. All ships, Jake said. Remember, protect each other. No one gets left behind. The battle began again. But this time, it was different. The Ravik faced not just one small warship, but an entire fleet of people who refused to give up. Cargo ships used their loading cranes to grab and crush enemy weapons. Mining ships fired their rock-cutting lasers at enemy hulls. Even the passenger liner used its emergency rockets as improvised missiles. Sir, Danny said, the Ravik are trying to surrender. Too late for that, Jake said. They had their chance to leave peacefully. The Bloodclaw's engines finally died completely. The ship drifted helplessly as the civilian fleet surrounded it. Other Ravik ships suffered the same fate. Some tried to run, but the fast human cargo ships chased them down. Captain, Ben said, I'm receiving a message from the Ravik commander. Warlord Thekvar wants to talk. Put him through. The ugly face of the Ravik warlord appeared on the screen. His red skin was pale with fear. Human captain, we surrender. We will leave this system and never return. Jake looked at him for a long moment. You attacked innocent people. You killed families trying to escape. You threatened to destroy a peaceful mining station. Yes, but we surrender now. By the laws of space, you must accept our surrender. The laws of space, Jake said, don't apply to people who break them. You chose to be pirates. You chose to hurt innocent people. Now you live with the consequences. What are you going to do to us? Jake smiled, but it was not a cruel smile. We're going to make sure you never hurt anyone again. Your weapons will be destroyed. Your ships will be taken apart. You and your crews will be dropped off at the nearest prison station. And if we refuse, then you'll learn what happens when humans get really angry. Dekvar looked at his scanner. He was surrounded by dozens of ships, human ships, alien ships, all of them working together, all of them ready to fight. We accept your terms, he said. The battle was over. The Ravik fleet was defeated. The mining station was safe. And across the galaxy, the word would spread about what had happened here. Jake looked at his crew. They were tired, hurt, but proud. They had done something important. They had shown that humans did not fight alone. They had shown that good people would come together to fight evil. Well done, everyone, Jake said. Let's go home. But first, there was something else to do. Something that would make the galaxy remember this day forever. 3 weeks after the battle, Jake Morrison sat in his quarters on the Defiant. The ship was back at Earth Station, getting repaired. The crew was on leave, but Jake had work to do. He was writing his report about what happened at the mining station. Captain, Ben Cooper said through the intercom, there's a message for you from the Galactic Council. Jake sighed. He had been expecting this. The Council was the group that tried to keep peace between different species. They did not like it when someone fought a big battle without asking permission first. Put it through to my quarters, Jake said. The face of Ambassador Karen White appeared on his screen. Karen was a human diplomat who worked with the Council. She was smart and tough, but she looked worried. Jake, she said, we need to talk. The Council is very upset about what happened at the mining station. What's the problem, Karen? We saved innocent lives. The problem is that you started a war without authorization. The Council says you should have waited for backup. Jake laughed, but it was not a happy sound. Karen, those people would have been dead if we had waited. Sometimes you have to do what's right, not what's legal. I know that, Jake, but the other species are scared. They're saying that humans are too aggressive, too willing to fight. Maybe that's not a bad thing, Jake said. Maybe it's time the galaxy learned that there are consequences for hurting innocent people. Karen was quiet for a moment. Jake, there's something else. The story of your battle is spreading. It's all over the galactic news networks. They're calling it the day humans came to help. Jake turned to look out his window at the stars. What are they saying about us? Different things. Some species are scared. They think humans are too dangerous. But others are asking for help. They want human ships to patrol their space. They want human protection. And what does Earth want? Earth wants to know if we're ready for this. If we're ready to be the galaxy's police force. Jake thought about the families on the mining station. He thought about the Zephyrians who had fought beside them. He thought about Captain Rick Stone and his 8-year-old daughter. Karen, do you remember why we went into space? To explore, to find new worlds and new species. That's part of it. But the real reason was to find our place in the universe, to find out who we are when we're not alone on one planet. And who are we, Jake? We're the people who come when others call for help. We're the people who don't give up. We're the people who believe that everyone deserves to be safe. Karen nodded. The President wants to meet with you tomorrow. She wants to hear your recommendations about our future in space. After Karen ended the call, Jake went to the observation deck. Through the big windows, he could see Earth floating in the darkness. It looked so small and peaceful. But he knew that down there, people were making decisions that would affect the entire galaxy. "Captain," said a voice behind him. Jake turned to see Lisa Park walking toward him. She was still wearing a bandage on her forehead from the battle. "Lisa, I thought you were on leave." "I was. But I wanted to talk to you about something. I've been getting messages from other ship captains, human captains. They want to know if we're forming some kind of protection fleet." "What did you tell them?" "I told them to ask you." Jake looked back at Earth. "Lisa, what do you think we should do?" "I think we should do what humans do best. We should help people who need help. We should fight for those who can't fight for themselves, even if it means more battles, even if it means some of us don't come home." "Especially then," Lisa said. "Captain, I've been thinking about that little girl on the Golden Star, Captain Stone's daughter. She wanted to help fight the bad guys. What kind of galaxy do we want to leave for her?" Jake smiled. "A safe one, and we have work to do." The next day, Jake met with the president of Earth. They talked for hours about the future of humanity in space. The president asked hard questions. She wanted to know if humans were ready to be protectors of the galaxy. "Madam President," Jake said, "I think the galaxy needs us. Not because we're stronger than everyone else, but because we're willing to stand up for what's right. And if other species don't want our help, then we help the ones who do. We show them that they don't have to be afraid, that there are people who will fight for them." The president was quiet for a long time. Finally, she spoke. "Captain Morrison, I'm authorizing the formation of the Human Protection Fleet. You'll be in command. Your job is to patrol the galaxy and help those who need it." "Thank you, Madam President. We won't let you down." As Jake left the meeting, he thought about the future. More ships would be built. More captains would be trained. More crews would risk their lives to help others. But he also thought about the past, about the mining station and the families they had saved, about the Zephyrians who had fought beside them, about the civilian ships that had come to help. 6 months later, Jake stood on the bridge of his new ship, the Un's Guardian. It was bigger than the Defiant, with better weapons and stronger shields. But more importantly, it was part of a fleet. 12 other human ships patrolled different parts of the galaxy, all ready to respond when someone called for help. "Captain," Ben Cooper said, "we're getting a distress call from the Altair system. Pirate attack." Jake smiled. "Set course for Altair." "Maximum speed." "Yes, sir." "Should I send the standard message to the pirates?" "You know what to say, Ben." Ben opened communications channel. His voice was calm but firm. "Attention all hostile vessels. This is the Human Protection Fleet. A human warship is incoming. You have 10 minutes to cease all hostile actions and leave the system. This is your only warning." As the Guardian raced through space toward another battle, Jake thought about how much had changed. The phrase "human warship incoming" had become famous across the galaxy. Some species feared it. Others celebrated when they heard it. But the pirates and raiders knew what it meant. It meant their time was up. It meant that someone was coming who would not give up, would not back down, and would not stop until the innocent were safe. Ravik Consortium had learned this lesson the hard way. After their defeat at the mining station, other pirate groups had tried to take their place. They had all learned the same lesson. When humans said they were coming to help, they meant it. "Captain," Lisa Park said from her position at the weapons console. "Long-range sensors show 3 pirate ships attacking a passenger liner. The liner shields are failing." "How long until we reach them?" Jake asked. 4 minutes at current speed. Too long. Amy, give me everything the engines have." Chief Engineer Amy Rodriguez worked her magic again. The Guardian leaped forward like a hunting cat. In the distance, Jake could see the flash of weapons fire. People were dying while he watched. "Danny, prepare all weapons," Jake said. "Weapons." Officer Danny Martinez, now promoted to lieutenant, checked his controls. "All systems ready, Captain. Should I load the special rounds?" "Always," Jake said. "Ben, any response from the pirates?" "They're laughing at us, sir. They say one ship can't stop three." "They never learn," Lisa said. The Guardian burst into the Altair system like an avenging angel. The three pirate ships were smaller than the old Ravik destroyers, but they were fast and well armed. They had the passenger liner surrounded. "This is Captain Morrison of the Human Protection Fleet," Jake said over the radio. "Release the passenger ship immediately." "Go home, human," the pirate leader replied. "This is not your business." "When you hurt innocent people, it becomes my business," Jake said. "Last chance. Leave now or be destroyed." The pirates opened fire on the Guardian. Their weapons hit the human ship's shields, but they held. The Guardian had been built to take punishment and keep fighting. "Their mistake," Jake said. "Danny, show them what human weapons can do." The Guardian's guns fired. The special rounds that Amy had perfected found their targets. The first pirate ship lost its engines. The second lost its weapons. The third tried to run, but the Guardian was faster. "Sir," Ben said, "I'm getting a message from the passenger liner. They're thanking us. They have 300 families on board." "Tell them they're safe now," Jake said. "And tell them that if anyone ever threatens them again, they know who to call." As the Guardian secured the area and waited for local authorities to arrest the pirates, Jake thought about the future. There would always be more pirates, more raiders, more people who thought they could hurt the innocent without consequences. But there would also always be humans. Humans who would come when called. Humans who would fight for those who could not fight for themselves. Humans who would never give up. "Captain," Amy said, "I'm getting reports from the other fleet ships. The UN's Protector just stopped a slave raid in the Vega system. The UN's Defender rescued a research station from mercenaries." Jake nodded. 12 ships, 12 crews, all doing the same job, all carrying the same message across the galaxy. "Ben," Jake said, "send a message to Fleet Command. Tell them the Altair system is secure. Tell them we're ready for the next mission." As the Guardian turned toward open space, ready to answer the next call for help, Jake thought about the 8-year-old girl on the Golden Star, Captain Stone's daughter, who had wanted to help fight the bad guys. She was older now, maybe thinking about joining the fleet herself someday. When she did, she would find a galaxy that was a little bit safer because humans had decided to care about others.